Thank you very much. I really appreciate the opportunity to speak in front of council, and I've been very impressed by the level of engagement that this has engendered across all corners of the city. I am here today to speak in favor of the rezoning for housing proposals. I do believe that density has benefits for cities, but that is not why I'm here to speak in favor. And I certainly believe that increasing supply reduces prices. Yes, even though newer units will, of course, be more expensive than older units of the same type. But that is also not why I'm here to speak in favor. I'm here to sing a chorus for freedom, a basic freedom to live the way one chooses in this beautiful city. Now, I am not a freedom absolutist. I'm cutting in and out of it. I pay my taxes without complaint, mostly without complaint. I am glad that I need a driver's license to be on the road, and I do not want a scrapyard built in a residential neighborhood. I accept these measures because I believe they are necessary for competent governance services, public safety, and in the case of a scrapyard next to my apartment, because it would represent an exceptional encroachment on the rights to my own freedom for the private, quiet enjoyment of my property. I come bringing good news. Duplexes are fine. Townhouses are fine. These are not exceptional encroachments on my rights. One person may choose not to build a duplex in their land, and one person may choose that they may want to. And I can choose that I want to live in that modestly dense environment, or I may choose that that's not for me, and accept in doing so that I will probably have to look further and further from an urban core, because that's the way that cities naturally develop without government protection. Townhouses are fine. I do not think we should need to ask permission before considering this choice, and I think that council always has a mandate to give its citizens more freedoms, and they're not crushing the freedoms of others. Now, I understand the hesitations to this proposal. Calgary has changed a lot in 12 years since I first moved to this city. It's changed a lot more than that since my father grew up here. I think Calgary in the 1970s sounds wonderful in many ways. I like bungalows. I like driving. I like garden plots. And I also have firsthand experience of the pain that the status quo is causing. Amongst my peers, it feels like virtually no one is unscathed. Many are giving up in ways that I find quite depressing. And in one life, I have a fairly privileged set of peers. But I've also spent weeks while unemployed doing temp labor. And I want to talk to you about a 65-year-old man who I'm going to call Brian, because his name is Brian. And Brian is getting a little old to be hauling drywall every day. But he's a hard worker, he has a heart of gold, and by living modestly in a small apartment, he's just able to make things work. Well, at least he was a year ago the last time I saw him. But a lot has changed in Calgary real estate in just a year, and I don't know where Brian is today. But I can almost guarantee that he's not here to speak in front of council, because it is a possibility that wouldn't occur to him and a luxury he couldn't afford. Now, there is a tension in my speech, because on the one hand, I'm saying this is just about liberty, just let people do what they want. And on the other hand, I am clearly implying that I think Calgary should be building more townhomes. And the tension is easily resolved, because I think we should be building more townhomes, more density, because people want to move into them. These are not slums that people find terrible. People are willing to pay a great amount for the privilege of moving into these duplexes and townhomes, and I think we should let them, thus freeing up space in other parts of the market. And I want to end on this. There's a divide growing up amongst my friends and my neighbors, and I know members of council see it too. There has always been and always will be a wealth gap between those who own land and those who don't, but it's growing into something more. And I may be asking to make that worse, because I, like others who have just spoken, think that I am asking to increase the amount that you can do with land in Calgary, thus increasing the value of that land. I am not here to ask for a great redistribution to the young or to the poor. I am here to write an entire speech to butcher a line from one of my favorite movies, which is that the non-landowning do much of the working and paying and living and dying in the city. And is it too much for them to work and pay and live and die in a couple of decent rooms and a bath? Yes, even in a duplex if they so choose. Thank you.